Yeah.
Have you ever felt a disconnect with your mother? And give examples. And how is her advice outdated for the current society and your generation?
Oh, sorry, could you repeat the question? Well, there definitely is a disconnect between my mother and I because we come from such different times and ages and everything's kind of not the same for us. An example of that is how when she came to America, she had to do so much to give me a good life. But I struggle too. Like, she doesn't realize that I go a lot to get good grades. And like, for example, this project Mr. Lee assigned us, it's just so stressful. And I've been staying up for like 3 nights in a row just to make it perfect. Besides the point, another example is how I'm on my phone at the dinner table. And my mom, she just always gets annoyed with me, but she doesn't realize that it's important what I'm doing on my phone. And she just wants to talk to me. And she just wants to talk to me. I think I understand now.
Generation. I sometimes with connection, for example, she says, be careful around certain things. When I think, well, I got it because I know how to handle myself, and I'm like older now, so I won't fall up in over something, and I'm more careful, I'm graceful, so I think that's a little, like, I don't need to do that because I'm better in learning and I'm smarter now. I think that her advice is outdated because, for example, she's like, wear your best clothes to something that's now not as fancy. Like to a dinner, I don't have to wear a dress and sparkles or necklace or anything. I can wear casual clothes, but back then she had to wear something fancy to impress.
Yes, I've definitely felt a disconnect because she's so much older than me. Like when she's trying to help me with homework, stuff like that, I always feel like she's wrong because like she learned this stuff so long ago that it doesn't seem like she knows what she's talking about. And she always tells me to eat my vegetables and to not eat as much junk food. And I mean, I'm like healthy right now, so I don't understand what she's so scared about.
I guess sometimes I do feel a disconnection with my mother. I mean, she tells me about stories about how hard education was in China, but what she doesn't know is that here education is hard as well. I mean, like, I don't sleep at 1 because I want to. I sleep at 1 because I have a lot of homework to do. I sleep at 1 because I have to finish my homework. I mean, it's not something that I can choose. Like, I can't choose to sleep at 9 and get like a D in my class. Like, she wants me to sleep early, but she also wants me to get good grades. Like, that's just not possible.
Go. How did you teach your children the importance of manners? Have you ever felt a disconnection with your children and how they didn't understand your good meanings behind your advice?
I teach them to be a good example. Like if I respect people and if I do the same thing, they will copy me and hopefully they will understand me when they get older. If I can disconnect with my children, of course, they're in a different generation than I am. But hopefully one day they'll understand.
I have tried my best to teach my children manners. I think that you learn first in the home, especially from birth, because they're with you and that's your life. You try to teach your values, you try to teach the things that are important to you, whether it is starting with the church and God to being respectable in the home to eating at the dining room table. Do they always listen? Do they always follow advice? Do they always follow your instruction? Not always, as I've heard from other friends, but what I do hear most is that you know your child has good manners when they're not in your presence as a parent, because the example is when they're with others.
I try to teach her manners by example and by explaining
what is the important way to act, but mainly by example. And I do feel like there is sometimes a disconnect, that she doesn't always understand or want to listen, and doesn't always respect that, you know, I may have experience, and often thinks that she may know more than I do, even though I do have much more experience and often know what I'm talking about.
这种 manner 的事情呢，就是我们从小要一步一步的灌输，家长要一步一步的引导。manner 呢，对当你步入社会的时候，与人交往的时候，就这种小的时候的影响就会越来越重要，表现出来。那小孩子可能觉得家长就是操心的事情太多，然后不理解他们什么之类的。
No, Donia, what just happened?
Oh, well, I just kind of had a realization over there that my mom actually really cares about me. And although she's maybe crazy sometimes, she just wants me to have the best life I can in America. And now that I understand, I hold her to a higher status and I kind of have more respect for her.
So is there anything you want to tell me?
No.
You don't want to tell me anything?
No.
Well, how do you feel about what I told you about being careful and being alert and aware of everything around you and your surroundings? How do you feel about
I
that?
feel like you tell me so many times that I don't want to hear it anymore because I know already.
Ah, okay. Well, I hope you are taking my advice to heart, because I would never want anything to happen to you. Okay?
Okay, Bailey, so now that you know how your mom feels, how do you think you should show more respect for her in order to strengthen your relationship?
I think I can show that I hear her advice and I can follow her examples because I respect her and that she's lived through more than me, and she probably has a better idea of what I should do.
Alright.